I always wanted to work with plant. Left straight from school, been here 13 years.
Callum's a fixed plant foreman, fitter.
He runs a small team and they maintain the plant, and he does a very good job for us.
He's a family man, good fitter, known him for a long time, nice kiddie.
There we go.
I'd already done a couple of jobs that morning and then went over to the secondary to start on the next job. The job that we were tasked with was to change wear plates in A-line hammer mill. Climbing inside the mill for me is a weekly activity, a monthly activity, something that I just got used to doing. This day was no different to any other day. Strict isolation procedures are in place due to the severity of the piece of equipment. So we went in and then set about the procedure of isolating the hammer mill that I was due to be working on. I'd locked the door up as I normally would, filled out the isolation form. The plant had been loaded and there were other people working on it at the time, so I tried the two conveyors to see if they would start, which they didn't, but I didn't do this on the hammer mill. So we've got the kit that we needed to gain entry to the mill and proceeded to open up the back door so we could gain entry into it. I was in there probably half hour, 40 minutes total. After we fastened the mill back up, we took all the kit back down and put it in the back of the Land Rover.
The phone call come through that Callum had finished on the A-line mill. The mill was actually isolated.
They couldn't start the plant because they could see that it was actually in the isolated position now.
So he phoned me back to say that I had isolated the mill, to which I replied I can't have done, I've just switched it back on. So again, went through the procedure of opening up the door, and as soon as I opened up the cover I realised what I'd done. I'd locked that part of plant in the on position so it could have started up.
If you're in there and that piece of kit starts, there is no second chance. You will die. It's all operated remotely from a central control room. The operative could have believed that Callum had finished his job, re-energised the plant, and that operative could have pushed the start button to start the hammer mill.
The mill could have been started so easily. I don't think you would probably get any closer to it, to death.
But I was one mouse click away from that mill starting. It was easy to click, that's it.
The plant would have started up, Callum would have been sucked into the hammer mill, and it would have been turned into shreds.
When I'd realised what I'd done, I felt sick. I just wanted to get my bags and go home.
Other people were working within the plant area, and because the conveyor belts leading from the crusher were full of stone, he would have had to have evacuated the building to be able to start up the entire plant to take the stone away from that discharge conveyor belt. And in essence, trying to make the job maybe easier for other people, or maybe thinking it was too difficult to follow the procedure. And he could have paid for that with his life that day. At that point, Callum had two decisions to make, really. He could have said to the guys in the loadout that the plant was now ready to start and everything was all okay and no one would have been any the wiser. Or he could have held his hand up and said, I've made a big mistake here and if I've done this, somebody else could do.